Hello sir, this is Samir Rahman and this is problem number 5 of mid-3, how to implement selection, insertion and bubble sort, and we have the code in top-down design here. So let's just go through the code and we'll analyze this a little bit, and then we'll talk about the functions we need to complete. So if you look at this code carefully, we can see there are total 7 function prototypes, but before that we have declared a constant integer which is 256, which can be changed intentionally or unintentionally. And then we have, let's go to the main function here, and we have declared the logical size is 0 as an integer, and allocation size is 1000 is also an integer, and then we have made an array of allocation size which is a character array. And after that we have used the set random seed field array in random charts, print array and clean array, these four common functions in these separated parts of selection sort, insertion sort and bubble sort. So let's just discuss about them. We know about the random seed, a random number generator, and fill array with n random charts. What these three functions do together is that they make a random number. They just create a random number and just fill the array with the random numbers, and numbers fills the array with them. And how it does is that it creates a pointer logical size array. And after that we have the print array function. We have worked with this in the previous problems also. What print array function basically does is that it uses random characters that have been generated or numbers, and prints those inside the third bracket here. And it uses the for loop here, and if function, to print each number and a comma after it, but we don't want to print a comma after the final number, so we use I less than logical size -1. So there is no comma after the final number. So this is what print array does, and clean array just cleans the whole array after computing the sorting functions. So the main characters inside the array remains unchanged. So let's just go through the main functions here of selection sort, insertion sort and bubble sort here. And what selection sort basically does, we have learned from this YouTube video here, is that selection sort basically just goes through the whole array and looks for the minimum number, and it finds the minimum number and it puts it in the very first position of the sorted part, and after that it works with the unsorted part of the array again and looks for the minimum number among them, and it picks it and saves it in the sorted part, as in appends it in the sorted part. And this is how selection sort works. So let's just go through the code directly and then we'll talk about it more. So what we can do is that we can use the for loop here for selection sort. So we'll say initially I is equal to 0 and I is less than the size we have given, and inside this we'll use another for loop. We can say the nested for loop here, and for this what we will do is that we'll use ji plus 1 and then j is less than size, and we increment it by using j plus plus. And inside this we'll use an if function here. So if the character array here of I is greater than the character array of j, then what it basically does is that it swaps. So swap, the h is gonna be capital as I have used capital S before. So we'll say swap character array of I with character array of J. So this is for the selection sort part here. What we basically did here is that we have used a for loop here to just go through the whole array. Let's say go through the array. Sorry. Go through the array till the end. We have used it for this, and and what we did here is that J is sort part index of sorted part. So J is the first sorted part here, and after that what we did here is that we have just set position with I and J. Set positions of I and J of array I and array J positions. The first positions of array I and J, we solved that, and after that we have the insertion sort function here. And what we know about the YouTube video we were given here is that insertion sort basically divides the whole array in two different parts. One is the sorted part and the other one is the unsorted part. And what this basically does is that it just compares between two numbers and it finds the smallest one, then it puts it in the sorted part, and then it works with the unsorted part, compares two numbers again, then again puts it on the sorted part, and if that one number that we find before is greater than the smallest number we find now, then what it does is that it just appends it after that. Let's say that the previous number was J, so it just appends it after J, but if it's smaller than J, then it just shifts J to right and puts the number in front of J. So this is what basically insertion sort does. The basic idea is quite the same. So let's just copy this part. We will be needing this for loop here also. Let's just remove this comment now because we will need to complete more problems with this. So let's say if the character element is equal to the character array we have here of I, and initially J is equal to I, as an integer J is equal to I, and then we'll use while loop here. So while J is greater than 0 and the character array J minus 1, which basically works as the unsorted part here, works with the unsorted part of element, and inside this what we will do is that we use the character array of J. We'll put this here, and this is equal to the character array of J minus 1. We'll put this here, and we'll say J is equal to J minus 1 for this, and the character array of J is equal to the element. This element is basically the element of the first element of sorted off portion, which is we have declared it as J. So this is the insertion sort what we have done here. So let's just put some comments here. So we can say assigning value of character array in element as char. Then we can say assigning I into J, and after that what we did here is basically just we went to the whole array and just append it if it is smaller than j, and just put it before j if it's smaller than j, and append it if it's bigger than j. So this is what we did the insertion sort problem here. And after that, what we have is that we have the bubble sort, and for bubble sort, what we will basically do is that let's say so let's just discuss bubble sort a little bit. So bubble sort, what basically it does is that it works with two pairs. With one pair first, it looks for the smallest one among them, and what it basically does is that this basically it just works with a pair, and it just checks if well, the smallest there are in the ascending order, and if both of them are in ascending order, then it does nothing. But if it's not ascending order, it returns a count that we call it swap count. So what we basically, the main idea what we need to do is here is that the swap count must be 0 for the whole sorted array, and if it's 1, 2, 3 or anything apart from 0, then it's not sorted in the perfect order. So let's just go with the code here and complete this part. So we'll use for loop like we have used before in the other problems here. So let's just do it again. So in size -1, then we'll implement it by using i++, and inside this for loop we'll use another for loop here. Let's say j is equal to 0 and j is size -i+1, and we'll implement j by using ++, j++. And for this, after that we'll use the if function here. So if the character array of j is greater than the character array of j plus 1, then what this basically do is that for swap the character array of j, and it will swap it with the character array of j plus 1. We'll use ++ after that, and as I have said before, if the swap count is 0, then we have got the result already, so we don't need to do anything, we'll just break. So let's just put some comments here. Let's say if element is swap count is incremented by 1, swapped once. So the element is swapped, the swap count is incremented by 1, and for this we can say that if swap count is 0, then the array is already sorted. So let's just build this and try to run it, and let's see if it works. So as you can see that we have successfully used the sort, the selection sort, insert sort, and bubble sort, here in this program. Thank you.